start streaming. What's up, guys? It's Paladin Null, and it's my birthday. I am going to... Ooh, I almost forgot. I was going to hop into... So I'm going to start streaming on my friend's Discord as well, so that if they want to hop in and speak with me, they can. Alright, I am now live on there. Everything should be good. Everything's holding up. It's funny. I built an amazing streaming computer. Well, not amazing, but I built I fixed my computer, and so streaming should be all that much easier. And yet, with everything that's happening, how I'll use the Game Grumps term, with the Backstreet Boys reunion tour going on, I have been so busy, more busy than I have ever been, and I just have not had time to get around to streaming lately. Between we've been doing a lot with D&D, which is fun, and we'll actually be releasing. I'm editing it now, but we're going to be releasing at the beginning of something. It's not D&D, but we're making a new thing called System Operators, which is going to be just me and some of my friends trying out a couple of different tabletop systems. Hello there, Shelly. Let's see here. Is chat on? I think chat should be able to be seen. They pop up in the bottom corner right now. But without further ado, let's get into it. So this is obviously, for those who don't know, I use RetroArch, which is just a really easy to use program. Oh, that is very loud. That is very loud. Hold on. Do I have some way of controlling the audio in this thing? Holy shit, that was loud. Audio, here we go. Audio volume level. Let's just, can I bump you down to a negative 15 decibels? Let's see where that puts you. That's a doable level, I would say. Oh boy, that was. Let me know if that's good for you guys. That was so loud for me. I was not expecting that. But yeah. A sub-hour run. I am not good at I cannot do sub-hour. I think the best I was ever at, because I used to play this all the time on the bus whenever we would go to, what's it called? Whenever we would go on camping trips with the Boy Scouts, I would play through Zero Mission, just as a way to pass the time. Oh, whoops, right. Buttons are swapped right now. Can I fix that really quick? Let's see here. Should be able to change the controls back to what I had them as, which was, A button should be the A button. X button should be the B button. I'm okay with the B button being a B button as well. Here. I won't really be touching it. Left bumper needs to be nothing. Right bumper needs to be nothing. Left trigger needs to be L. Right trigger needs to be R. That's my setup for this game. But the best time that I ever got playing this game would have been, I think, 2 hours to fully complete the game. That was not, by the way, 100%ing the game. That was just me playing the game. I don't think I've ever actually 100%ed this game, and I don't think I'm going to. I'm going to get a lot of the stuff, don't get me wrong, but this is just a game that I can sit down and play and speak, and I kind of just don't need to think too hard about what I'm doing. I can just do it, just because, I don't know, I've played it so many times at this point. It's not quite like speedrun level, but it is probably the game that I am most comfortable with as far as what to do and not get lost, while I can just kind of talk and just sort of do things. So that's kind of why I started playing it, for the purposes of this. You'd think it would be a Zelda game that I'd be able to do that with, but I'm very bad at remembering what I'm supposed to be doing in Zelda games. Whereas I can pretty much do this Metroid game completely and totally just mindlessly. It was how I would, it's how I passed the time, and after a while, when you know what you're doing in the game, I'm not gonna remember everything because at this point I only ever play it once a year. But it used to be that I could just do this entire thing while holding a complete and total conversation. I'll save really quick. There's no reason for me to necessarily save right here because I can always just like go into this menu right here really quick and like and just like pop a save state load state. But you guys see that menu? Cool, you guys can't see the menu. If you have not had a chance to look at RetroArch, by the way, it is very nice. It is a series of emulators built into a single program. So rather than having to download a million different emulators and then like trying to sort through everything there, you just get RetroArch up and running, download all the ROMs that you've got there, or well, legally get your ROMs, and you can play all of your games just like super simple on your computer with the after having properly ripped the ROMs off of the cartridges like a good boy. Or like whatever you are. I don't aspire to say that there's only two types of people in the world. Long beam, and now the game gets that much easier. Honestly speaking, not having long beam up to this point feels weird. Like, I understand, like, this game, the first time that you ever play, like, because Zero Mission is the first Metroid game reimagined for the Game Boy Advance, which is amazing because, like, the first game is a good game, but boy is it, like, impossible to figure out what's going on in the initial release. So not only does my gun deal, I think, like 2 or 3 damage now, as opposed to the 1 damage I was doing with the standard beam, it also reaches all the way across the screen. But the first version of this game, the NES version, is just, it is hard as shit, like way harder than any other game on the market that I can think of at the time. I'm gonna turn around. Okay, so this is where I get rockets then, because that room is the rocket room. Like I said, I'm not gonna remember exactly how I'm supposed to be doing this, but no, oh, you know what? No, I'm supposed to try the door first because I'm not supposed to know that the gray doors can't be opened yet. There we go. Now he shows up. And now it goes through the door. And this is where I get my next objective. The objective system in this one is also very nice. I much prefer this game over Fusion. Not because Fusion is bad, but just because Metroid Fusion is it's a good game, but hoo boy, it's weird, and it's like at the time period where like the Metroid games were starting to get like really into having a story. Like it came out alongside Metroid Prime, where it was this game first, and then Metroid Fusion. No. I think this game came out after Metroid Fusion. I may be wrong about that, but they came out at very similar times, and I can't remember if this game runs on the Fusion engine or if Fusion runs on this game's engine. But it's one of those. Either Fusion runs on this game's engine or this game is running on Fusion's engine, but the idea was that they made it an official, original Metroid for the Game Boy Advance, and they made this game, which was just a really good remake in the same engine that Fusion runs on. But they made Fusion around the same time that they made Metroid Prime. And they made a big tie-in between the two games where if you were playing through Fusion and you beat the game, then you could go onto Metroid Prime and enter like a special data thing. I always love the mechanic of those beetles will infinitely spawn, and they will always drop like health and ammo upgrades. And this guy also drops like ammo and health upgrades with those little spikes that he drops. 3 rockets and he's dead. Not a very hard boss at all. And he drops the charge beam. I've played this game so many times. This music brings me great joy. Same. It's there's something special about Zero Mission. Like, Fusion is good. Fusion does horror way better than this game does, in my opinion, because like there is nothing scarier than the SAX from Fusion chasing you. This game does exploration better than Fusion, I think. Like, I understood this game a lot faster than I understood Fusion. Fusion, to me, feels like apocalyptic in a way that, like, this game feels like very man versus nature, whereas in a more of a Castaway sort of setting where it's like, well, I think Castaway's not the best example of that, but the idea being that, like, hey, yeah, it's easier just to wail on that thing with bullets, because trying to waste your rockets to get through this thing faster is annoying because those things just keep swirling around them and constantly spawning from the hives. It's easier just to go ahead and do that. I don't have Morph Ball yet, so I can't get through that yet. First E-Tank! I will be attempting some infinite bomb jumps in this to get the, there's like an E-Tank that you're supposed to wait until you can have high jump to get, or like screw attack to get. One of the few games of my childhood that withstood the test of time. Oh, absolutely, like I can, like I said, I go back and play this game every single year, and like to this day, I legitimately enjoy every second that I spend playing Zero Mission. I need to, at some point in time, go back and play the Prime games, because I owned Prime for the GameCube, and I now own the Metroid Prime trilogy on... This game is old enough to drive a car now? Is it really? Like, when did this game come out? Because I mean, the Game Boy Advance came out in my lifetime, but I was young when the Game Boy Advance came out. I remember when the Game Boy Advance was coming out, it was around the same time that, it's funny, I can track when things came out based on, like, what I was playing at the time. The Game Boy Advance came out shortly after they announced Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons for the Game Boy Color. And I remember my dad asking, like, it was like I had a bunch of money saved up, right? And I was gonna spend that money on a copy of Oracle of Ages, because I loved Legend of Zelda. And my dad goes, well, don't you want to save up for that bigger Game Boy? And I was like, silly Dad, the bigger Game Boy's the older one. I don't need that. And then my dad pulled out his newspaper, because it was February 2004. Ugh, that feels... I feel ancient. But when the Game Boy Advance came out, my dad was like, don't you want to save up for that big Game Boy? And I was like, the big Game Boy's the old one. What are you talking about? I already have a Game Boy Color, and that's way better than the big Game Boy. Because at the time, I did not realize that, like, new things could ever exist. It was my first system. Like, I wasn't whatever. Okay, so this game was based on Fusion's engine then, because Fusion was like one of the few launch titles for the Game Boy Advance, if I remember correctly. Well, it wasn't launch, but it was close to launch. It was a big deal when it came out. Like, the Game Boy in general, the Game Boy Advance was a very big deal when it came out, because it was basically just a Super Nintendo that you could hold in your hands. Where am I going again? I got Morph Bombs, right, so I can go back. But, I remember being sad because, like, my dad pulled out a newspaper that was like, Game Boy Advance, better than the Game Boy Color. But, like, at the time I was like, but I really want to play that Zelda game. Oh, wait, hold on. There's a hidden thing in right down. I can go down here now. There's a couple of places that I can go, but down here is one of them. So I ended up like getting the game first, and then for my birthday that year, it was funny. I was opening up my presents, and one of the presents that I opened up first was a copy of a game called Dokapon, which was it was my first experience with something that I would actually consider a rogue game or rogue-like, but it's not like today's modern rogue lights. It was actually like Rogue, which is to say, the Mystery Dungeon games, I say, would probably be the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games are probably the closest to Rogue as a game series now, which is the whole like your movement is on a grid, and every time that you move, the enemies get a chance to move as well. Can I not shoot? I guess I can. I can only shoot rockets straight up or to the right. I can't shoot them at an angle. That's weird. But what was I talking about? I was talking about something and I can't remember what it was. But I've gone and lost my train of thought, which is super cool with me. Zero Mission, Fusion, it wasn't about that. It was, I got a game called Dokapon, which was a game your dad got you. Yes, it was actually, so I don't think my dad got me the game. I think because it was my birthday, and I think one of my friends got me the game for my birthday. And so, I remember this puzzle. This is a weird one. So I have to bomb that. There's a very, so I can infinite bomb jump this to get this pretty easy, because all of these blocks are destructible. So, as soon as I blow one up, it gets destroyed, but they come back. So I can... this is gonna take a minute. Because I have to be able to bomb and then get into the bombed out zone. This may be something that I have to come back for. Yeah, if these guys are here, there's no way I can infinite bomb jump this because they're just gonna keep hitting me. I'm not very good at this, but I got Dokapon for the Game Boy Advance, and I was like, it's a game, but I don't have a Game Boy Advance, and I was really sad. And then my dad was like, don't you? And then he handed me another box, and that had a copy, that had a brand new, had come out maybe 5 months before this Game Boy Advance, and I was like, it's a Game Boy Advance, and I started freaking out, and of course, my dad's gave me a knowing smile, and he was like, yep, your mom and I got you a Game Boy Advance. And I was like, this is the greatest day. I then proceeded to ignore. I had the original shitty purple color, the not see-through original shitty purple color. Yeah, the red. See, I think that the only colors that were available whenever I got mine was there was shitty purple, there was gray, and then I want to say they might have had the clear plastic versions at that point, the clear plastic purple, but I can't remember. I would then later get a Game Boy Advance SP, which I actually still have, and it's in my room with me. I've got my original Game Boy Advance somewhere too, but I didn't bring it with me because very little chance of me ever wanting to play on the original Game Boy Advance again when I've got an SP. But that was a neat little system. SP was so much better, obviously, because it had the backlight. Ooh, mother brain. They did Mother Brain dirty in the Captain N TV show. So the Captain N TV show was the epitome of not understanding people who liked video games. Oh, the Norfair music is so good. The Captain N was the epitome of people not understanding video games, and so They made Simon Belmont like a douchey jock. They made they did a lot of bad things in that, but Simon Belmont was a douchey jock. Mega Man only said his, or no, I can't remember. Did he say more than just Mega Man? But he had a terrible like chain smoker's voice. Like he was like Mega Man, Mega Man. Well, how can we help him, Captain In? And I'm like, please stop. Please do not make that voice ever again at me. And then there was, who else was in there? There was Captain, there was Mega Man, there was Captain In himself, and Captain In's dog, Spot, who was funny because the very beginning of that show involves Captain In being like the kid in his room playing his NES and getting sucked into the game zone or the game world or whatever they called it. He gets sucked into the game, and he has to save game world from Mother Brain and the other nasties, which are it's King Hippo from Metroid. Pit was in there, but they don't call him Pit, they just call him Kid Icarus, which is so good. Pit from Kid Icarus is in there, but they just call him Kid Icarus, they don't call him Pit. And then and so the bad guys were, Mother Brain was the main bad guy, followed up with can I not escape this right now? Oh yeah, there we go, it gives me a little step block. And her two hinge people were the Eggplant Wizard from Kid Icarus and King Hippo from Punch Out. That was a wild show, but so the dog is like a very classic 80s dog, which is to say, like, the dog definitely was like what was like a beagle or a lab or something, but I think it was a lab. But because it was a classic like 80s TV show, he had to be spunky looking, and so they gave him he had like a big spot on the eye, which is, you know, a very normal like look for an 80s like TV dog, like cartoon dog. But the thing was that the cartoon wasn't how the show started. It started out as a live action that turned into a cartoon during the like opening of the show, and so part of that opening was the kid. Like, his dog is there with him. I'm doing such a bad job of talking about this. The dog that was there with him, and they had painted on the dog the eye spot so that he could look like his real world counterpart. But it was such a bad look in the show. That, and they show the same like opening sequence of the kid getting like taken in like every single episode, like to like explain, yeah, this is a kid from the real world just like you or me, and he's been stuck in the game world now. Can I get out of here? Yeah, there we go. These developers thought of a couple of things, like not being able to have the spacesuit by the time you get to a lot of this stuff. And now we can get the wall cling. Whee! There it is. Right, I have to like blast my way. I have to be very quick about this. Whee! And there it is. Power grip. I remember finding this the first time through and like finding the incompatible bits. I was like, am I even supposed to be here right now? This isn't anywhere near my bed. Like, just as a child being like, I found something secret and nobody was supposed to be able to find this. This is so cool. It's so different from like everything else. I must be a genius because I found this thing. It's like, it's absolutely the recommended route, but the sense of exploration you get from having to come this way, because it's the only thing you can do, is such a good feeling. You're just like, I found something that I really wasn't supposed to find, and I'm on the surface of the planet after being stuck like underground for so long. I found my way to the surface. Also, now that I have power grip, it'll be very easy for me to go get that missile tank. Yeah, seriously, mantling in this game, the power grip, the mantle is such a useful tool. And also being able to revisit your ship on the surface is really cool, because, like, hey, that opening cutscene that you were in actually had, like, the location exists. You can go there. I also remember getting Ice Beam, like, really, really early on. Actually, can I explore a little bit further this way before I head straight to where I'm supposed to be going? I remember when I was younger, I played a lot of Metroid, but I hadn't played, like, any Castlevania games. So my initial understanding of Castlevania games was actually very, like, I didn't want to play them because I knew they had the same exploration, but in Castlevania games, you don't have a shot that rings across the entire fucking stage, so the idea of fighting anything in Castlevania games terrified me, because I was like, I have to be how close to these things to hit them? But, I feel like, I think I played, like, Symphony of the Night, and I was just like, oh, actually, this isn't a problem. The game was based around not having to be super far away from enemies to hurt them, so, like, you can generally approach an enemy without it being an issue. And, like, your weapon isn't as accurate, but you can also, like, swing in big old arcs, so it's easier to get through what you need to. Whereas in Metroid, your weapon is not as accurate, or your weapon is very accurate because it's long range, but that means that, like, the enemies are designed around you being able to shoot them from a distance. Which is, like, in a Symphony of the Night era kind of Castlevania game, it is easy to forget how to, like, sort of move around and control things. Or not, what am I talking about? To forget that the whole point of it is to be up in your enemy's grill and, like, dip dodge diving around their attacks. Whereas in this game, positioning is so much more, like, ancillary. It's like a third sort of idea, because the idea of positioning isn't positioning yourself to avoid an enemy's attack, though later in the game it is. It's all about, like, positioning yourself to actually be able to hit the enemy. I remember, I need, what's it called to get up there? I think I need to get the speed boots before I can actually grab that. Let's see. Oh, this is a fun room. I remember loving this room. Like, right after you get the grip, it's just like, hey, guess what? This is a room that is nothing but using that grip tool that you just got. Yep, there's the ice beam. Yep, I remember, like, because you don't get ice weapons until, like, the end of the game in Fusion. I remember it was a big deal in Zero Mission to get the ice beam, or in to get the ice missiles in it wasn't Zero Mission, Fusion, because the X parasites made you, like, oh, hold on, this adds it up. The X parasites made you, like, susceptible to ice, because, like, you just couldn't, like, take the ice. Or was it? No, it wasn't the X parasites that made you susceptible to ice. It wasn't that made you susceptible to ice. It was the fact that the baby Metroid, or the Metroid DNA that they fused your body with, that could eat the X parasites and keep you from getting infected with it. They were susceptible to ice, and so you couldn't have an ice beam because your suit was just not designed for it. We're already after Kraid. We're about 30 minutes into the game so far. Actually, less than that, because, I could get up there, but then I couldn't move. screw you then. Actually, hold on. Isn't there a thing here somewhere? There it is. Gotta get all those missile tanks while you can. We're gonna need, like, all of the missiles when we get to the end of the game. And the Ice Beam makes fighting enemies that much easier as well, because not only do you deal more damage with the Ice Beam, but being able to freeze most enemies in place is so useful for getting rid of them. Do not have the Varia suit yet. Can't go in there. I think I need, like, I think this is like hyperspeed to get to this floor. Yeah, it's hyperspeed to get to the floor. Oh wait, hold on. Now that I've got Ice Beam, can I? Yeah, that's right, because I can do that. That's what you were trying to tell me was I needed to do that so that the guy could get out so that I could come up here. That's what you were telling me. Yeah, I needed the Ice Beam, not the speed boost, to get that power upgrade. Let's do another save really quick. That was something else that was different between like this and Fusion and playing what's it called? Like after, because I played Prime first, and then I played Fusion and Zero Mission. And in Prime, the save locations also restore your health and give you all your stuff back. But in this game, the only thing that restores and gives you your health back are the Chozo statues. That's right, you wouldn't have been able to come back this way at all. Well, you could have, but you would have been falling into acid. The only way to come back here safely is without the acid. It's one of the few things that I prefer. They do it in Fusion too. Okay. Yeah, well, I think it's because it's a holdout from the original game, because that was similar to the, like in the original game you could save on save points, but you couldn't restore health from the NES version. You could only restore health and bombs and stuff from, or health and missiles and stuff from the Chozos in the first games. Is this where I'm supposed to be going? How do I check my map? There it is. This is not the way I'm supposed to be going, but I can go grab that, I can go grab that, what's it called right now? That, missile tank over here. Now that I've got, power grid. There we go. So much easier than what I was trying to do the first time. And honestly, these guys are more of a nuisance than they are actually, like, deadly. Yeah, well, we're going to Kraid next, which I believe is Wave Beam and then the Hyperspeed, or the other way around. That's something I never actually like bother to check. In this game, can you cannot disable your weapons. Okay. In Metroid and Super Metroid for the Super Nintendo, you can like turn on and off what beams you have active. So like if there's a certain combination that's better for a certain enemy, you can actually like go, oh wait, I don't need Ice Beam for this guy, I just need Wave Beam and Plasma Beam. And it was kind of an interesting oh wait, hold on, no. This is the infinite bomb jump room. There it is. Okay, here we go. I gotta get used to this. Let's say there used to be a way that you could just cheese this if you spawned enough bombs at once. There we go. You don't have to try and do it fancy. If you just spam, you can infinite bomb jump up to that. You can get it fast enough to get that power upgrade right then. This is bomb floor. Oh, I have bombs. Hold on. I haven't gone down here yet. How have I not gone down here yet? Weird. But regardless, I'm down here now. Actually, no, this is where I'm supposed to be going, isn't it? Yeah, because this is going to Crate. Both the level and the boss. I love the Zero Mission music. So the Zero Mission music, in my opinion, is significantly better than the Super Metroid music. And some people really, really love Super Metroid music, but a lot of it is just really, like, it's ambient tracks, and, like, yes, ambient tracks are nice, but, like, you can play me an ambient track all day, but if it doesn't have, like, a melody to it or something that, like, really sticks, I'm like, I don't know. Like, you can't tell me that this isn't just an absolute bop. And the eyeball monsters where their eyeballs like will shoot out if they die and they're not frozen. 100% pop. Oh no! I need the. That's right, because this is supposed to be where we learn about hyperspeed. Is from this thing. Because this is where we learn about hyperspeed blocks, is launching from these little, like, platforms. This is my way out from the other room. This one right here. When I get into this room? No, it's not this one. It's that one right there. I feel like I'm supposed to be going this way. I felt like that feels accurate. I can get into this door, and then I can just climb over that. That's right. And then I haven't activated the rails yet because I do that in a second. And activating the rails makes getting through a lot of this a lot easier. That's what I'm about to do in this upcoming room. very obtuse about doing this. There we go. And this turns on the power. Now that the power's turned on, I can press this button. Grab this E-tank. And now I fight the giant worm. That, because I have 60 rockets, should be a piece of cake. Now we drop down here. Get our one little hallway. And in here... There we go. That's one missing away. I thought one of these paths had a thing on it. Maybe not. Still, now that I've activated those power lines, I can actually make it to where I'm going. With these little health sacks. On here. That's right, you have to have hyper boots to get that. You're supposed to run it through and destroy all those guys. So I get the hyper boots next then. You were correct, Sheldon. I don't see, I remember just based off of pure instinct where I'm supposed to be going. I don't remember what I get when until like I'm like a step away from actually doing it. I'm like, oh right, that's next. Copy that. Oh, right, I have to do this. It's so much extra work just to get like a single rocket pack, but I bet in a speedrun scenario, this is not one that you would bother to, like, go after. There we go. Because of all the extra work required to get it, it's just probably not worth collecting. get space jump so that I can get morph ball jumping. Morph ball jumping is so much easier than having to do all of this extra work. And through here. The Kraid fight is just around the corner. I don't have max rockets, but that's not a big issue. Oh, right, I can do this to get a little extra supplies right off the bat. I love that. That's a very clever way of letting you get a bunch of supplies right off the bat. I guess I'm not as close to Kraid as I... Oh, yeah, I'm a little distance from Kraid. I got a little bit of distance left to travel before I can get Kraid. Nah, I'll be fine. I remember this being very annoying to do. I think this is supposed to like teach you like bomb jump timing. I'm very bad at this. And then you have to like push down, I think, to get out of it. I didn't push down, I pushed left. At least I think you pushed down to get out of it early. Like I said, I'm not very good at this. Maybe you just press jump to get out of it early? Okay, got there. Woo! Finally. Double extra missiles never hurt my body. Except for my enemies. Or my enemies. Right, I do not have the ability to open that yet. So now I need to go where? I need to be all the way back down at the bottom. Whoopsie daisy. To be able to get there. There's got to be somewhere that I haven't gone yet that having the powered rails active can let me do now. Or that there's a secret I can't remember. Oops, I need that. Whoops. No, there's nothing that I can do here either. I need to get to that door, but I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking about this all wrong. In order to get through that, I have to be able to rock it. Is there maybe an underway that I'm missing that I haven't properly explored? Oh yeah, right here. Totally. There's a Chozo, but that's right, I have to get in this way and get this unknown item, which I believe is actually the gravity suit? No, it's not a suit. It's not a gravity suit. It's the that is the, I think, the screw attack or the space jump. I can't remember. It's one of the abilities that you, like, are not supposed to have in the first game of this game. Because they tacked on the entire Samus stealth segment to this game in later versions of... Or in this version, they tacked on the stealth thing instead of having the end of the game being defeating Mother Brain. You defeat Mother Brain, and then you go on to a stealth mission as Zero Six Samus. I remember playing this as a child, and I'm gonna say that a lot during this, but I remember playing as a child and having an action replay, and when I couldn't beat this game as a kid, just like action replaying to see what you could do, and one of the things was like, always play as Zero Suit Samus, and I was like, what? And like, I didn't know about the stealth mission at the end of the game, so I was just like, did they hack in an entirely new model for Samus so that you could just run around as like a hot girl with a ponytail? Oh, these are the ones that have the exploding eyeballs. That's right. It's the red ones that have the exploding eyeballs. Okay, so that's the boss fight. I guess I'm ready to do the boss fight. Here we go. Pray. That's just off. That's right. You have to do the correct height jump to get him. And now he's gonna shoot a... People that are really good at this game can beat Kraid in like a single cycle. I cannot defeat Kraid in a single cycle. There we go. I can beat him on a single E-tank though. Now that Kraid's dead, the Kraid eyes open up. Now I just have to beat Ridley to get the Ridley eyes to open up. get super speed. Speed booster. Now if I run from left to right really fast, or in any direction really, if I just keep running, speed! Rather than having to deal with literally all of that down there, I can just wall jump my way up. That acid fall does damage to me until I get the various suit, I think. Actually, I think acid deals damage to me no matter what, doesn't it? Regardless, the whole point of this was to get that missile tank. The lava is purely transactionary. A small price to pay for Froggy Chair. Save room. With max health and missiles. It's a good save. Let me in. I forgot how terrifying that was. Now that I have speed boots, though, I can do this. Get the Z tank. So I can also, what else can I do? There's a lot that I missed to explore back here that I would like to see if I can explore a little bit of. Kind of streamlined my way through what I remembered I was supposed to do, and I forgot to do any exploration. Like, I remember you're supposed to explore up here and, like, get some upgrades, and then realize that that lava's fake. But I just blasted through all of this, Sort of a mini-boss. All of that before missile tank. Now I can head back. This is one. I obviously don't want to explore that floor right now because it's acid, and that would hurt a lot to fall into that. Out of here. And when we get up here, we get to see that the space pirates are coming in on their green sperm ships. And now I'm gonna have to start dealing with space pirates, as well as Ridley, the captain of the space pirates. Rawr. Let's do a scream. No, he doesn't scream yet. levels. Explore through here. To the next location that we're supposed to be going. Alright, in the back. This chair is so squeaky. Next thing that I think I'm going to upgrade in my entire setup is going to be another new chair for me, because this thing is falling apart. The Amazon Basics chair that Megamine uses is still in good condition. I don't know if that's just because she uses that chair far less than me, but I have put this chair through the fucking ringer, and it shows, like, it shows painfully. Where am I supposed to? Oh, right, I'm supposed to be going back to Norfair. I'm still on full on everything I want to do the refill right now. What can I do in Norfair? Oh yeah, I've got the speed boost so I can do that long run jump. And then I get the various once I'm back in Norfair. Missile tank. And then I cannot get super missiles yet because, yeah. I don't know, do you ever have... You can't Shine Spark in Morph Ball, can you? Wasn't the whole idea of Shine Sparking that you could get the speed up, then hit down, and you maintain the... No, you can Shine Spike in... You can Shine Spark in Morph Ball. I've just never been good at it, so I never got that upgrade. Go the right way? I'm going up too far. Isn't there like a faster... Yeah, isn't there a faster way to get in here after you learn how to Morph Ball? I just need to be going back to Norfair, that's right. That's right, I need to do this. And then I burst through the floor there. And then the next couple of rooms are literally just about running to the point where you have enough speed to then run back. Oh, that was one. You have enough speed to burst to the next floor. this is where we get the high jump. And now the Morphball can jump. Finally. A much needed ability. Nope. That was a poor decision. I do not have the Various suit yet. Now that I can high jump, I can actually high jump into that little chamber back there. I think I could have technically infinite ball jumped, but high jumping is so much more convenient. Ironic. So I can't do anything in there yet. But I can gain a new objective here, which will be the wave beam, and then I can take down those things. Never mind, we're going back up, and we're going up to a new location. Now that I've got high jump, I can traverse further up than ever before. Sorry, I thought I heard like a siren or something, like a what's it called, siren? I thought I heard like a tornado siren or something. I suppose if there was a tornado or something, though, my phone would have also started going off. Got it, but I couldn't like get it activated. Like I understand the gist of shine sparking, but I don't know how to do it effectively, I don't think. It's a very advanced technique that separates me from actually being able to really speedrun this game, I think. I think in the speedrun they use shine sparking several times to like very, very rapidly traverse terrain, but I just haven't bothered to do. This is where we learn that those parasites can eat through the invincible orbs. So, work has been very interesting the last couple of weeks between the Backstreet Boys reunion tour and now rioting in the streets. There's been very little like room for me to do my actual job. I know I'm supposed to be over here. I have to get a various super far connection to it through this video, I think. What? Come on. I don't even remember if this is actually what I'm supposed to be doing or not. Oh yeah, because this is where we learned that the things eat the things. That if you have enough of them on the invincible orbs, the invincible orbs die. That they prefer eating the invincible orbs over me. Go my younglings. Devour. Now, don't devour me. My younglings. You devour the things that I want you to devour. And now we get the Varia suit. Now we're not worried about acid anymore. Or, I know, there's one of them that still hurts me, but I can't remember which one it is. Prevents damage from acid and heat. So I think lava is still a problem. Do not get the cool shoulder pads in this version. With the various suit. But I no longer care about being in here anymore. Or rather, I no longer perceive it to be dangerous to me. There it is. So there's a way in here somewhere. Now that I can jump in Morph Ball, I can actually jump in lava. But, what I was getting about earlier whenever I was talking about the whole thing was, I did an order for a lady earlier this week, or it was actually last week. She had an order where she wanted to purchase one of our, like, chairs, and we have some really nice chairs in stock because they're supposed to be, like, gliders that you put in the nursery. But, she was trying to order a chair over the phone. Carpet Bomb's area looking for single... Yes. The only way to actually deal with finding secrets in Metroid. But, she... What was the thing? There's a thing that I have to do, right? That releases a bunch of those squirmy doodads. Do I have to come back here with them? I can't remember where I find them. I get them from somewhere and come back here with them, I think. But I was ordering a chair for a lady, and she was having a hard time, like, well, she wasn't having a hard time, it was just like, she mentioned something like, we were talking about, like, the delivery date for the chair that she ordered, and she was like, it's funny that we don't put years on things that, like, that don't pertain to, like, a thing. I was like, I guess you could say that's weird. Like, I don't think it's that crazy, but I guess you could say that's weird. And she was like, well, I have these tickets from a concert that I went to. And the concert would have been in either like 80 or 81. I just don't remember. I was like, I don't know what else to tell you, lady. Like, that's very interesting. Like, let's get to the chair order. And then she just like went on about this concert. And so I was like, okay, this is very clearly an older woman who does not have anybody to talk to, like, at all, ever. Yeah, we've already seen, like, they did the whole teach us how to play the game thing earlier, where we saw that those little worms destroy the big orbs. I think you can also super missile them, but you can also bring the little guys in and have them do it. That's all of that explored. I can head straight to North Fair now. But she ended up talking to me on the phone, like, while I was at work, for an hour and a half, just about literally anything that she could like get me into a conversation about. And it's not like I was a little annoyed because I was supposed to be doing work, but simultaneously I was like, I don't know, this lady's like, this is just a little old lady who just really needs somebody to talk to. She probably hasn't actually seen anybody in like she probably hasn't like seen anybody outside of her house in like 4 months, 5 months maybe. So I was like, whatever, I'll talk to her. But like, I kept getting called on the radio, and they were just like, hey Paladin, like, what's up? You still on that phone call? I'm like, yeah, yes I am. I am still on this phone call. It's like, what are they doing? I was like, they're ordering a chair. Taking a long time to order a chair. Yes, it is. Please just like let me do this, and we will be okay. And I felt really bad anytime that we had to go back to like the chair order, but I was like, I can't just sit here and listen to this lady and that be like all I do today. So like anytime that there was a slight lull in the conversation, I'd be like, hey, about this chair order that we've got right here, like, so the shipping address, is it the same as the billing address? And oh yeah. It's like, cool. So, continuing the story. And she would just, I've seen some weird people during all of this. I've seen that. I saw a guy that, I heard about it. Apparently there was a, one of my coworkers works at, first off, there was a line around Ross, like around our building. As soon as Ross opened back up, there was a line of people waiting outside to go to Ross, which is like if you've never been, it's a lot like a what's it called? I think it's JCPenney. Yeah, JCPenney might be that same way. No, it's not JCPenney that does that. Who is the people? There was one in our TJ Maxx. It's a lot like a TJ Maxx, where the idea is that they have like, they don't always have the same things every single time you go there, and it's always at like a really like big discounted price. And their main focus is not on. Their main focus is on clothing above all else. Like they've got rack after rack of clothing. It's like, it's weird because it's like a step above. It's a step above above like going to a thrift store, going to a Ross. And so some people prefer going to Ross, but it's like, if you're searching for like, I guess the idea is that at a Ross, the stuff that they sell there is not been like, it's not been used. It's just like stock that has been sent to a liquidation firm, and so it's cheap because it's not like somebody's worn it, but it's also like not as nice as or it's cheap because nobody wanted to purchase it at the store, but nobody's worn it, so you're not gonna like worry about that. But I don't know. At that point, I feel like I would just go to a thrift store if I was trying to get cheap clothing. You find more interesting stuff at thrift stores, actually, in my opinion, and for cheaper. Like, I haven't done anything with it, but I have just this really old tube TV sitting in my closet, or sitting in my storage shed outside. And, like, I'm just like 1 or 2 days, like, I gotta take the time to do it, but I'm gonna gut the insides of that machine. And I'm gonna strap, like, one of those old construction helmet style, like, harnesses into it, and I'm gonna turn it into, like, a TV head sort of thing. And I was hoping that I could get, like, that TV head set up, and then where it would be preferable if I could get my hands on something like a white suit jacket and some white, like, slacks. Which I don't know how, like, possible that'll be for me, so I have to come in here with the wave beams for this. Or maybe, no, I think I can do this one without the wave beam, but like there's a version of this where you have to clear out the path to make the jump with the wave beam because the blocks keep reappearing. Gut the insides and put a crazy strong computer in it. That would be a cool idea. Like, gut the insides and then replace the inside with like a for the size, it's not a big one. It's one that would fit comfortably on top of my head, but not really big enough to be a full-size computer. But I could easily put like a micro ATX in there and just make it a fun little like computer. That would be fun. Map room. Hey, cool. But yeah, I'm between... I kind of want to make the helmet for it, but like the idea is that once I have that helmet made, I'm going to spray paint the whole thing white. And I would have to then spend extra money on getting like a nice suit jacket and basically getting a full white suit. And then wearing it in a full white suit with the TV head look. And getting like... Because you replace... On TV head stuff like that, you replace the glass with, you typically replace, because the glass is typically see-through, you know, for obvious purposes. But you want to replace the glass with, what's it called? How much of a run will start? There's things in the way. Well, this isn't even where I'm supposed to be going anyway. I was supposed to be going the other way. Because I don't have super missiles yet. And I don't have a way of dealing with most of these enemies in a single shot yet either. This is fake, that's right, I remember that much. Now they get to the super rocket version of the regular Beetles. That's real lava right there. Is rock turtles their actual name? I always called them like beetles. Or rocket turtles. I don't like this room because, like, well, for obvious reasons, probably. There's a secret in one of these rooms. Like, anytime that this game presents you with, like, a single, like, roomed hallway, like, question it, because there's usually something to find in there. Now, I think in this particular case, there's this door, and that's about it. I always thought they were turtles, because to me, that's how they looked. So the turtles had the rocket turtles. Ah. I always saw them as, like, turtles probably makes more sense, but I always saw them as, like, scarab beetles with, like, a carapace that was too strong to, like, break. I have to say, this is the most perfect location for a camera I've seen. Oh, I'm covering up the map. I've played the entire game, and I've been covering the map the entire time. Maybe. I don't know the names of the... I don't know the actual names of the creatures. And there's another secret here. Just being sarcastic. Thought I was clever. You were covering the map. Oh. I had no clue. That is my default map. That is my default camera position, is right there. I completely and totally forgot that my camera was covering something up. Okay, then yeah. The Rippers, I guess is what their names are. I had no clue. Do they tell you that in Prime? Because I know that they exist in Prime as well. There'll be forever rocket turtles in my heart. Probably Nintendo power. That probably makes the most sense, honestly speaking. Ow. Ow. These things hurt. Wave beam! Get ready for the game to get a whole lot easier as far as shooting things goes. Because with the wave beam, suddenly I can... Yep, I can now shoot through solid objects. And the beam itself is much wider, which makes it that much easier to actually hit things. And I love the way that they explain... I love the way they show this off. Some names are better than others, though. It's called a... Oh, what is this thing called? Giant side hopper. Descriptive. Giant side hopper. I love it. Now, as a child, we're very rapidly approaching where I would always get stuck as a child. There's a point in this game, like shortly after you get the wave beam, there's an enemy. Yep, it's right in this area. So I remember getting the wave beam and I'm like, oh cool, I can shoot this thing in the belly and then it dies. And I go, cool, so I can get through that. And then there's this one, which, as a child you go, okay, well I can't get to its belly, I gotta find out. This game came out in 2004. I was 8 years old when this game came out. It was actually my birthday 3 days ago, and I am 26. Oh. Yeah, that puts us a fair distance apart. But yeah, for this guy, I did not put two and two together that you were supposed to lay multiple bombs underneath him to get through him. I just like oh wait, hold on. There it is. It's just rockets. There it is. Energy tank. Metroid came out when I was 3, though. So yeah, you still had a new quote-unquote experience with this game. These are speed pads, right? Yeah, so I'm supposed to... If I want to get down there, I can use this path to get speed. More rockets. Save room. Finding secrets gets so much easier now that I've got the wave beam as well, because you can just blast through like everything. That's right, I'm gonna be fighting the brood mother soon. Whatever that like creepy parasite monster is. That's in this upcoming room, I think. Yep. My run died just before I stopped playing and decided to watch someone else play instead. Oh, you're a speedrunner? I'm not, I can't speedrun just mainly because, like, I don't have the attention span to, like, learn all the tricks and stuff. But also just because I'm bad at video games, and you'll see very shortly. I'm adequate enough at video games not to be not to be shit at them, but I am not, like, good enough at, like, doing tricks and stuff to actually pull off anything real or, like, impressive. Like, I can barely shine spark. Oh, nice. Yeah, it is one of the few games that I can play without, like, having to think about it too much, because I've just played through it so many times. That I just play through it every year on my birthday so that I can kind of, like, speak. Now, my birthday was a couple days ago, but I was working on my birthday, so did not get a chance to play. Turned into a sloppy spaghetti fest. I think that would be my hardest thing about learning speedrunning is, like, I don't like resets. Which I understand, like, resetting is, like, a whole part of, like, some people do resets, some people don't, but, like, in my brain, I know that if I was doing a run, I would just be reset city. Like, I would never finish a single run because I'd be like, ah, it's not good, I'll reset. Ah, it's not good, and I'll just do forever. I've never got the opportunity to work on my birthday. I reset when I die. Okay, yeah, I guess, especially because you don't take any time to save in a save room if you're doing speed running. So yeah, I guess if I was speed running and I died and it literally resets you all the way to like nothing, I could see wanting to reset. I'm supposed to be down here, aren't I? I thought I was supposed to be in Ridley. Unless if I had a new glitch or something. Oh, okay. So I can probably get speed. I guess that doesn't really help me, does it? Yep. There's a shine spark. I can shine spark. Oh, where am I supposed to be going from here? There's like a cave up above me. I'm much less remembering of these areas because this is past where I would get stuck as a kid. Everything before this comes as second nature to me because it's like everything that I could do before I got stuck. But now everything. So my questions are rhetorical. Yeah, kind of. It's a little bit rhetorical, a little bit like I don't actually remember where I'm supposed to be going right now. I know that I'm supposed to be going toward river, but don't remember how to get there. I don't have super missiles yet either. Very clearly, I'm not supposed to be here quite just yet, because I don't have super missiles, so I can't advance in this area. Is having wave beam going to be beneficial literally anywhere else, though? Because I got the cutscene when I came down here, which makes me believe that I'm advancing, but am I supposed to maybe be... Oh! Right, totally. Because the bug fell through. That's right. Okay. I'm a big dum-dum, but here we are. Oh, and then I have to fight... Yep. I remember now. Supposed to like crash through this, isn't it? Yeah, and then I get the super missiles. Fine, okay. I remember what I'm doing now. I'll be honest, like, I don't think the visual storytelling of the thing being down is very good. I remember there's supposed to be like some sort of secret here that you're not supposed to like jump across that, or like you're not supposed to remember to jump across that the first time you come across it. So it's supposed to be like a, aha, gotcha. Now you got to work your way all the way around to get to it. Alright, sun from Super Mario. Was it Super Mario 3 that had the sun? I like the segment because, unlike the rest of the game, they don't tell you where to go. You figure it out yourself, like in Super Metroid, and Metroid 2. Yeah. You definitely, yeah, because there's definitely, like, no marker. You're just supposed to kind of, like, push forward and figure it out, which is cool. It's like, it's kind of like that exploration moment of, like, you get a marker where you're supposed to go earlier in the game, but, like, the only way to progress is after you get the power grip, which is something they don't tell you about, so, like, you're just supposed to explore and figure out where the power grip is. Which I always thought was a really cool thing to do. Yeah, Fusion, it holds your hand like the entire time and has just so many cutscenes. Oh, this is where you fall down. Okay. And then you're supposed to fight your way this way. And so that's just how you get back out. Okay. Like, I like some of the things they did in Fusion. I thought Fusion was a cool game, but I agree, like, I don't really like going back and playing Fusion because the whole thing just feels like... It doesn't feel like I'm playing a game so much as, like, I'm going through the steps that the... Like, I'm following an instruction manual, like I'm building some IKEA furniture. Legitimately, the one cool thing they did in, the one cool thing that I really like that they did in Fusion, though, is the SAX. Just this unkillable monster that's coming after you and you're supposed to hide or run away. Like, for a Metroid game to have that in it was very cool to me. Didn't they bust open the speedrun for Fusion recently? Like, I remember seeing that at a GDQ, like, not too long ago. Like, they did a run of Fusion where, like, the entire thing is just busted open. Like, it's... I feel like they did something to it recently that, like... It's not interesting from like a skill point of view, but from like if you're like a big technical or glitch hunter kind of guy, like the glitched run of that game, like they did something with like the floating point memory that like screwed with the way that the game like tracks your progress, and you skip like 3/4 of the game. Read. There was one game, there's been one game in my entire life that I have been interested in speedrunning, and I've kind of looked into it, but like, I don't know, which was Evoland. The original Evoland had what appeared to be a pretty interesting speedrun to me. I bet once you get used to it, it's not, but I loved the aesthetic of Evoland, and so the idea of speedrunning that game always seemed interesting to me. Because, like, early on, the whole speedrun is about, like, movement optimization, and then, not Evoland, Evo, as in, like, evolution. Evoland was a game that came out, like, a couple years ago. It was actually a little while ago at this point. Evoland was a game that focused on, like, you would open up a chest, right? But instead of finding, like, 10 pieces of gold in it, you gained the ability to walk left. Or, like, the ability, like, you gained, like, graphics and increased... it's called Evoland, like EVO land, Evoland. They made a second one as well, which was like apparently much longer and had like a real story to it, but like the whole point of the game was it was an evolution of like RPGs in general. There's a segment in it that's the very beginning of the game is very like early Zelda stuff, and then the game becomes like later on it becomes very it's like early Zelda, and then by the mid to late game it becomes by the mid game it's like a Final Fantasy game, like Final Fantasy VI. Yes Evo as an evolution. It becomes a very Metroid... It doesn't ever become Metroid, but it doesn't ever go side-scroller, but, like the fighting game tournament in Vegas? Yes. Except it's not based on that, it's based off of the root word that both of those share, which is evolution. But yeah, it's got a Zelda point. It's got a Zelda part. I'll probably play through Evoland on my channel at some point, just because I know that like not a whole lot of people have played it or know too much about it. And I thought it was an interesting game when it came out, so I'll probably like at some point pick it up and play it on the channel. I just haven't yet. Like I own the game, I just haven't bothered to like try to play it on the channel yet. It's a good game though. It's very short. The whole gimmick of it is like, at one point in the game, it becomes like Final Fantasy VII, where you get it is on PC. Let's see here. What was Evoland on? It was on PC. I want to say. Ouch. I'm not very good at these doors either. Come on. Okay. That was very pro forma on my part. I know it's on PC because that's where I own it. I want to say it also came out on like PlayStation 4 or Xbox. I'd have to double check. I have it on Steam. And it takes literally nothing to run, so it's like, it's not a hard game to like play. Like it's a very, very low requirement, so like even a laptop would be able to play the game. It's got a Diablo segment, but part of the speedrun is that you skip over getting the Diablo segment's health. So you go into the Diablo segment with 10 hearts or like 10 health. And you're supposed to have like 100 health to do the Diablo part effectively. Yeah, Ridley fight. Not a hard fight. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, Evoland is out on Steam for sure. What else is that on? If it isn't painfully obvious that I'm not a speedrunner, I am stopping in the middle of playing so I can look up Evoland. Evoland, the video game, came out on platforms Android. Oh, it's on Android and iOS as well. Android, iOS, Microsoft Windows, Linux, Macintosh operating systems. So it's PC and it came out on phones. So if you're not like too crazy about like what system you play it on, phone would probably be a very easy way to play that game. And there's never anything about that game that is difficult enough to require you to play with like a controller. But it does have controller support. Like there's no real reason that you would want, like, the only reason you would want to pick it up on something other than like phones would just be because you want to have like the nicer control schemes and stuff. How do I get out of here? This is the only game I speedrun, but it's because I used to be homeless, and while I was homeless, I had a DS and Metroid Zero Mission. At one point in my life, the game was the only thing that made me happy. That is a lot. I'm glad that there was something in your life that made you happy. Being homeless, I imagine, is not very fun. I have never been homeless myself, but I have done a little bit of couch surfing in my life. It's never fun to not know where you're going to be next. 2006-ish. Oh, was that like, that was during the Depression or the economic crisis, right? Don't try it, being homeless sucks great dicks. all 3 of the spiky ones that he just shoots out of his, like, his dick zone, and, like, one in his chest and one, like, later further up. Just all 3 of those. Sucks the whole thing. I'm supposed to be able to do a really cool speed run through this. Yeah, I was too young for that to be a thing for me, but I was doing couch surfing during college a little bit because my parents, like, I was not getting, like, super good grades. My parents lived in Texas, I lived in Alabama, and I did not want to leave college because my girlfriend, who I'm still currently dating, still lived here, and I didn't want to, like, I didn't want to go anywhere. It was not, like, the best scenario. So to try and convince my parents that, like, I would be fine is, like, I was like, well, I will, what if I find a place to live while you guys are, like, you guys won't have to pay for my rent or anything. It all started when Sega decided to reboot the Sonic series. That is a very good way of just keeping a very light situation. But, yeah, so I was trying to, like, convince my parents that, like, I would be fine without needing a whole lot of help. And part of that convincing was, I ended up, it was for about a year, actually. So it started out with me not really fully understanding where I was going to be. And then I ended up spending a year. It started out as, like, literally in the living room of somebody's house with the promise that one of them was going to graduate and I was going to move into one of the rooms, and I was just paying them rent. And luckily, because there were like 5 of us in a 2-bedroom apartment, which meant we were all just crammed in there. Because there were 5 of us in a 2-bedroom apartment, the rent was ridiculously low enough that I could actually pay for it with my part-time job. So I paid for it with my part-time job, and I paid for that with my part-time job and food and everything for a year. And then that was enough to convince my parents that I was, like, good. So, after all of that, I went on and, I got the apartment that I'm in now, graduated, and I'm still here. But, I now pay for everything on my own because once I graduated, I got a full-time job, so now I'm good. So I had a very, very brief period of not quite homelessness, but definitely, like, not ideal living conditions for the sake of not having, like, a proper amount of money. Oh, I need screw attack to get for that. Dang. I don't think fake screw attack works for that. I have to have the real screw attack. Oh, the real screw attack. How convenient. I used to have a book describing the different levels of homelessness, where the levels based off of RPGs. Well, that's a sound effect I haven't heard in a little while. That screw attack sound effect is very nice. Well, it is good to know that you are not homeless now. I don't know why. Like, I know there's nothing back there, but level 1, homelessness means your parents kicked you out, but you don't actually do anything if you stay there. But they don't actually do anything if you stay there. I was never there, but like, I never got kicked out because I left my parents' house to go to college, but I was still, like, they were paying for my apartment, so that's basically the same thing. Nope, it came back. Cool. Level 69 is when you're a homosexual. You enter a romantic relationship purely for a place to stay. I bet there are a lot of people that have done that at this point. Gotta get that run going. I have enough space to get the speed first. Only just. Oh, but I can just walk through this. Okay. Oh, I see what I'm supposed to do. Ah, but I can't screw attack him. Okay, so I have to be very specific about how I move for this thing. Go to the stream. Happy belated birthday. Well, thank you, Justin. Good luck on your next run. May the splits be with you. Or should I? Would it make sense if I said may your splits always be golden? That's a thing, right? Gold splits where you get like a perfect split, like your best split. If you press up or shoot while you're jumping, spin jumping, you stop spin jumping. Ooh, okay. No. Was this just to get that? It looks like it. It looks like this was literally just to go get that. Well, now that I've killed Ridley, I can go up to the surface, or to that one, well, at least that one zone that I haven't actually like explored yet. Thanks for stopping in again, Justin. And there's also a missile down there. I got the missile, didn't I? I got the super missile. Yeah, I got the super missile. Just to give hints. See you later, Justin. There's one room to the left of the super missile. Oh, it's a normal missile. I'll be fine without it. I'm not 100%ing. I've never 100%ed this game. And if I don't feel like I need it, then I'm probably not going to bother to get it. There is a super missile room up here that I want to explore, though. There are a lot of you in this room. Max out all of that stuff. Yeah, the things that I always need more of in this game are super missiles. Like I can deal with having slightly less regular missiles than normal. I just need super missiles badly. A very clever way of hiding that little jump up zone. Yeah, 250 missiles. Pretty sure the boss with the most health, you need less than 50 to kill. For realsies this time. See you later, man. Thanks for stopping by. I use the trick you taught me. Oh, there was something back there. There it is. Regular missile tank. Right, that's right, I remember this now. But it's worth it for a super missile. Yeah, there we go. This is core. This is good for my health. That is a handy trick. Just hold up to stop screw attacking, and you don't fall into lava. Here's how I get out of here. We haven't saved it a little bit. Let's save. This music is such an iconic song. Like, obviously it is quite literally an iconic song, but like, my favorite part of this game is right at the very end when you actually get the gravity suit. You can like rush your way out and actually like take down the space pirates on the way out of the zone. Like that's such a cool moment to me. Is like you get the super bombs and you start blowing everything up, and you become like nearly invincible by the end of that section of the game. Because without your armor, you take a lot of damage from space pirates. So the idea is that you're supposed to like try and avoid getting attacked by space pirates by that point of the game. And then I want to go up this way because I've activated both of the things now. Get a refill. I know I'm not missing that much health, but it always helps to get a refill. I can now go down into this area. And we get our first look at the Metroids. The namesake of this video game. save room right at the beginning is probably a good idea, because I understand that the Metroids are kind of terrifying to fight in this game, as I understand it. First couple of things that we see are rain dudes. They introduced the Metroids so late into this game. It's kind of weird how late into the game you are when you first start seeing Metroids. Also, Metroids are much larger than I would feel comfortable with them being. So far, I've been very lucky that I have not actually had to be captured by a Metroid. That is a not fun thing to have happen. Metroid hunting is stressful. Mainly just because of, like, they don't take any damage until they're frozen. And they say they only stay frozen for a very, very short period of time. Here it goes. This is the, I think this is the final run-up to Mother Brain. I actually can't remember how many my max missile count is. I think it's 130. Nope, it's not 130. Oh, it's 140, isn't it? No, it's higher than 140 now as well. Maybe it's 145. I have lost track of. Yep, 150 is my max. Is my max missiles. Okay. Hey! I beat Mother Brain on my first try this time. It wouldn't be a Metroid game without a self-destruct sequence. My hand is sweaty. Alrighty, and that is the end of Metroid Zero Mission. Absolutely, totally, 100% the end of Metroid Zero Mission. There's definitely nothing else left in this video game. That is the whole thing. And look, Metroid is actually a really hot girl named Samus. But that's not the actual end of this video game. Is up next. We get shot down without our power suit, and we now have to go through an entire stealth mission as Zero Suit Samus. Look at that booty shot. Timing of my escape couldn't have been worse. I was attacked by space pirates and left nearly defenseless. Stripped of my power suit, all I had for protection was my rather useless emergency pistol. Infiltrating the space pirate mothership, so armed, may have been foolish, but I had no choice. This is something that they could I survive long enough to escape? We've got the pistol, and that's all we got. Auto-charging pistol, charges shots automatically. You only have the 99 health. You can still grip, which is nice. Like, you get grip, and then you can crawl into small spaces as Zero Suit Samus, but I need super bombs to get out of there. And I think you automatically Yeah, you automatically crawl into small spaces, which is nice. Can't get through that because I don't have super missiles. But I can blast this gate and sneak my way in. Who could it be? Whose metallic eye could that possibly be? Map room. Immediately followed by save room, which is so useful. Because if you didn't have a save room right here, hoo boy. Do you know how far back you would go without a save room right here? And at this point, save rooms also restore our health to full. Because if they didn't, hoo boy would we be in trouble. Like, every time they hit you, it uses up, like, an entire energy bar. So for this room specifically, if we pass through any of those green beams... They pull a lot of fast ones on you in this as well. Like, there'll be a guy that's secretly in a hidden alcove that suddenly sets off the alarm as well. Oh, there's a save room right here. Cool. Anytime you can find a save room, take it. Please, please take it. Because you're going to need as much health as possible, and you need to be able to get through as much of this as possible. And getting hit takes away an entire health bar, so I can only be hit, like, what is that, 9 times? 10 times, I think, technically, with my initial health as well. Spotlight rooms. You end up in a spotlight, you get caught. So we've seen tripwires, we've seen spotlights, and we've seen getting seen directly. Those are the 3 ways that you can get caught. And then you have to run for it in between those times. I was actually doing pretty well that time around. I didn't actually need too much of a heal. Only got shot twice. The big idea with this stuff and like how to avoid being in real danger is just to keep moving. Don't ever stop moving, just keep going. Yeah, there are some of these rooms that are designed specifically so that you can do them without getting caught. And then they have it like set up in just such a way that like if you do get caught, Yeah, like right here. Now I've been caught. You're supposed to be able to make it out alive. With secret alleyways like this, so that you can reset after a fight. And then there's stuff like that, where there's a secret guy that's hidden, and you're supposed to get caught anyway, no matter what. I didn't mean to shoot down, I meant to shoot him. Okay, please save room soon. There we go. Perfect. I can only fight so long before I run out of health and I have to start that segment all over again. These ones are actually pretty easy to do, all things considered. Just got to stay out of the line of sight of the eyeball. And that one goes pretty high up, actually, so I'll wait for it to do another pass. That should be good. You can always hang from the side that the eye is not on, and you'll be safe. But the idea is to get back up and move between eyes as they are done passing by. How far these go if they cross at the exact same spot. Oh, what? It's on my foot. Welcome back. We're at the end of the game. No problem. We are, like I said, quite literally right at the end of the game. I beat Mother Brain in one go, which is nice. And I'm right at the very end of the game, which is... I forgot about him. So to get super bombs, which is what those guys had, right? Which is what that thing had right there. Save room first, because please, I'm out of health. Without my power suit on, I can only be hit 10 times before I die instantly. And my pistol does not kill; it only stuns, and it only stuns when it has a full charge in the chamber. They've stolen it. It's gone. And so now we've got another seeing eye segment here. I don't know whose idea it was to put stealth into this game, but it's mainly based... I think it was mainly based off of the same stealth mechanics they used in... it's got a lot of the same stealth mechanics they used for the SAX in Metroid Fusion. So I think that's mostly what it's based on. I was like, I can't go any lower than this. It is nice that so long as your entire body is underneath the thing, you're safe. But her foot naturally dangles slightly below that. Yeah. If you stun the one long enough and nobody sees you for long enough, just like Metal Gear Solid rules, it was entirely possible to slip by these guys. Oh, right. Okay. And there's this save room, because I think shortly after this save room we've got the, yes! The Trial of the Chozo. This is such a cool part in this game. It's such an interesting look into Samus's past as well. Because she was raised by the Chozo. That's where she got her power suit from. That's why nobody else in the galaxy has one like it, is because it's the Chozo that gave it to her. And the Chozo are actually just like giant bird people. They're great. I love the Chozo. They're so cool. And here we are, Samus, as an adult, coming back to her past, the ruins, and taking on the actual trial now that she's ready. Hurt yourself if you shoot yourself in the mirror. Okay, one more round. Did it! And so now we see Samus. And then Samus in the cool power armor. And she gets a new suit of power armor. Maybe shot again. And all of those things that were incompatible before are now better. So we now have Plasma Beam. I can now shoot through multiple enemies. We've got the Gravity Suit, which means that I am no longer slowed down in water. And Space Jump, which means that I can continuously jump in the air by pressing A while mid-somersault. You got the fully powered suit. And so Yeah, and so the Brinstar, or the the Brinstar music starts cutting back in. And now guess what? Fuck off. Fuck off, all of y'all assholes. Every last one of you assholes that were like super strong and could kick my ass before are now just dead. I think my controls are messed up because I can't aim missiles diagonally, which I'm supposed to be able to do. Also, now that I'm no longer slowed in water, I can get super speed in water. I'm sorry, I thought you think you can take me? Nobody can take me, I'm Samus. I need super missiles to get, I need super bombs to get to that. But I can screw attack for this. Also, the gravity suit, lava no longer burdens me. Yeah, this entire like last portion of the game is literally just a power trip of, hey, guess what? You just went through an entire section of this game where you had like no ability whatsoever. We're gonna give you all of the ability, and you're just gonna be able to kick ass like the entire way through. You're just gonna be able to kick ass. Trying to make my way back to the ship is what I'm trying to do. And the save spots still give me full health and gear now. So this is the introduction of the good save points, is once you get past the actual end of the original Metroid game, Metroid Zero Mission is this just really good section of video game that's just like, hey, by the way, obviously, we know where Samus goes. This was not how Samus was during the game that this was created in, but we know what we can do with this now because we've gotten further in than ever. So we can give you things like space jump and whatnot that you didn't have the first time you played Metroid, because like the first time that you ever played Metroid, you didn't have access to the gravity suit and the plasma beam and all that, because either from limitations or they just didn't think about it. Oh, I don't know, I gotta rectify this. Hold on. So I can speed through this. Right? Get right here. Crouch. Oh, you stopped me. Ah, whatever. I was gonna finally shine spark. Space jumping can be kind of complicated. Oh, that's right. These guys, you have to use, or no, they don't take any damage from rockets at all. You have to hit them with, save point, gets full health again. Oh no, the walkie droids. I'm about to have to deal with walkie droids. Without super bombs, I can't get through that floor. Walk, droid, walk. Other way. That's only a portent of what is to come. The walkie droids are the worst. There's a section during the escape where there's a section during the self-destruct sequence where you have to fight a walkie droid or not fight a walkie droid, but you have to like run behind a walkie droid. And he is the slowest motherfucker on the planet, let me just tell you now. Black ones are still tough. Like the regular red guys, easy to kill. The black guys, the black space pirates, not so easy. Because you can't hit them with rockets either. No rockets actually hurt them. Just the only thing that actually hurts them is your plasma beam. Here. Got all my health back, okay. Feel a lot safer about doing this. I think I'm supposed to go down here, yeah, because you see it carrying it in there. Power bombs, hold R, and then you use B while in the football. Extra power bomb tank. reason for me to come back this way, I don't think. But with the power bombs, I can now... Because I got through that door. Out of super bombs because I used my last one in that last one. But I gotta find the same point really quick so I can get my power bombs back. Fastest route to a actually. The save rooms are going to be back here, which means I got to go through this entire segment. I'm supposed to be able to use that as my fast route back. That doesn't use power bombs. It's funny because space pirates are one of the most iconic enemies in Metroid, right? Just in general, the space pirates are supposed to be like one of the most iconic enemies in the entire series, and yet the 2 or 3 times that you actually attempt fighting them in these games, like either they're like they're easily some of the most they are some of the easiest enemies to kill in like the base games, usually speaking. Have the save room if he comes in here. Okay, 4 power bombs. I can work with that. And then here we go. The actual final boss fight of the game. Prototype Meta Ridley. bad shot. I always hit too high or too low. I'm gonna die. Yep, I died in the Ridley fight. The first death in the entire thing, and I died during the Ridley fight. The final boss of the entire game, I died because I just got too impatient. F's in chat. Especially because this is literally like the last room of the game before you go to the final area. Hey, Paranoia, welcome to the end of the game. And in 3 seconds, I'm already much further, because if I hit my super missile shots, this fight should be over in like 3 seconds. See? If I land my missile shots, this entire fight's over in 3 seconds. Yep, substart mechanism activated. Yeah, this last little run, you're also, like, barred from using those doors. So, like, the only way out is the exact route out of here. Did I save the animals? You don't do that in this one, but, that's a Super Metroid. Technically speaking, this would be the moment in Super Metroid where you get to save or kill the animals. I don't have time for you to wait on you, dude. There's save and kill the animals in Super Metroid. From Jim, dude. By the way, Paranoia, I'm Baby is Mega Man. This is the thing. This is it. Timer on the clock, and this is the only way forward. You gotta wait for this walk droid. You have to wait for this walk droid. Let's say killing those two guys is the final trial, because that guy's easy to kill, and then you hop in their speeder, and you blast out of here. I just love the suicide guy who tries to jump on your ship in the last second and just blows up. And we escape on the only spermie alive as the mothership explodes. Mission accomplished. And it took me 3 hours this year. Typing with one hand, if you know what I mean. Izushi Takahiro. Hey, developers. I want to see what my actual like in-game time was. This is also really just a really cute scene. We come back to the trial room. This ancient sacred temple. And in the little corner, it's right down there at the bottom, Samus drew herself with the Chozo, which are giant bird people. Alright, let's see what rating I got. Oh, I only got helmet off. This game, like, the better you do, by the way, in this game, the better you do, like, the faster your clear time and your total... See, like, I beat the game in 2 hours for the game. Your rate for collecting items was 63%. If you can get 100% items, and I think keep it under 2 hours, you can get Samus in a bikini. There we go. I got a picture of Samus with her helmet off. Gallery has been added to the options screen. Original Metroid has been added to the options screen. So once you beat the game once, you can actually go back in, go here, and hit start game, and then you can choose... Well, hold on. This just starts the regular game. This is not the options screen. Whoops. Oh, no, 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 no. I just want to... I didn't want to start the game over again. I just wanted to show off the option screen. If I... Let's see here. Quick menu. Restart. And I can go to the option screen. You can go to the gallery, and the one picture that I have is of Samus in the suit. You can do Metroid Fusion Link, in which case you can actually play, I think, as Samus in Metroid Fusion in this. I didn't know you could do that. It actually lowers the sound if you're not playing from the Game Boy. That's nice. And then if you click Original Metroid... Wait for it. Yes, the exact same game. But this is what the original game looked like. Oh boy. We have come a long way. And they don't even tell you what it is. Like, you literally just, like, you're supposed to figure out that that was the morph ball. There's no aiming up or down or anything. You're supposed to go now. You also start the game missing health. This is what the original version of this game, so the game that I just played through, that I just beat, this is what it looked like when it first came out. You can't even aim low. You can't aim at all. You can aim straight up or you can aim right, but like most enemies at the beginning of this game, you can't shoot because there weren't enough buttons on the NES controller to let you aim up and down. This one's significantly harder. Also, you can see the slowdown happening because it's literally emulating the original version of the Super Nintendo game. It's emulating the original Super Nintendo game all the way down to, like... Also, there's not a map in this version. You're just supposed to, like, memorize where everything is in this one. Like, you can't access a map. There's no direction as to what you're supposed to do next. You're just supposed to, like, figure it out as you play. I have never actually beaten original Metroid. I don't think I've gotten past the first screen. Like, I've never been to this screen on original Metroid before, because why would I play this version instead of Zero Mission? But anyway, that is going to be it for today's stream. Thank you, everybody who came out to watch me play one of my favorite games. I've been Paladin Null. This has been Metroid Zero Mission. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. And there will be a next time. I do plan on going back to some pretty regular streams, whether they be by myself or with Megumin, we will see. But I've got some free days that I can do some streaming on, and I plan on doing that. We'll see how my schedule goes, just because work has become very strange lately. But I do plan on coming back to doing more regular streams. We'll start off by finishing Ori and the Blind Forest, and then from there we'll move forward and see what we want to do. But anyway, I have been Paladin Null. Again, thank you everybody who came out here and wished me happy birthday on my birthday. And I'll see you guys next time.